They say jokes always carry a little truth, but that night, when my wife laughed and said she missed her chance to marry rich, I realized some jokes don't come from humor. They come from hidden regret. I'm David, 38 years old. I run a small but steady construction business in Denver. My wife, Laura, and I have been married for 7 years. We weren't perfect, but we were stable, nice house, 2 cars, a comfortable life. Or so I thought. Laura always had a taste for finer things. Designer bags, fancy restaurants, vacations that looked perfect on Instagram. She wasn't greedy. She just loved the idea of living beautifully. I worked hard to give her as much of that as I could. I took extra contracts, worked late nights, skipped breaks, just to make sure she never felt like she was missing out. But over time, something changed. Her friends started marrying CEOs, lawyers, doctors, the kind of men whose lives look picture-perfect online. And Laura noticed. Every dinner party, every gathering, she compared what they had, where they went, who they became. I tried to laugh it off, but deep down, those comparisons cut. Then one Friday night, after a few glasses of wine, she said it. You know, David, she laughed, swirling her glass, I should have said yes to Jason back in college. He's a millionaire now. I looked up, expecting her to grin and say she was kidding. But she didn't. She just smirked, waiting for my reaction. I forced a laugh. Yeah, guess I should have married a lottery winner, too. She giggled, but her eyes didn't match her tone. No, seriously. Can you imagine? I'd probably be living in New York right now, shopping instead of worrying about bills. It was a joke, but not really. There was truth in her smile, a truth that stayed with me long after the laughter faded. That night, I didn't argue. I didn't even speak. I just sat there, quietly realizing that the woman I loved might have started regretting her life with me. The next morning, she acted like nothing happened, humming while making coffee, scrolling through her phone, asking me to pick up dry cleaning. But something in me had shifted. It wasn't anger. It was disappointment. I started noticing things. How she lingered on social media, liking pictures of luxury vacations and designer homes. How she hesitated when friends asked what I did for a living. As a construction business owner didn't sound polished enough. At work, I buried myself in projects. The long hours became easier than coming home to silence that felt heavier than words. Then one evening, while fixing a faucet, I heard her on the phone. Her voice was soft, nostalgic. Yeah, Jason's living the dream, she said, laughing. Penthouse in Manhattan, private driver, everything. Sometimes I wonder what life would have been like if I'd said yes. She didn't know I was standing just around the corner. I froze, the wrench slipping slightly in my hand. That moment didn't make me angry. It broke something in me quietly, like glass cracking under pressure. After that, I stopped trying. I stopped bringing flowers on Fridays. Stopped suggesting date nights. Stopped filling the silence she created. Then, out of nowhere, my company landed a massive contract. A deal that could change everything. It would double, maybe even triple my income within a year. But I didn't tell her. Not yet. I wanted to see if she'd notice. Weeks passed. She never asked how work was going. Never noticed the late nights or new equipment invoices. She just kept scrolling, posting, pretending. Then one evening, she walked into the living room, wine glass in hand, and said, David, don't take this the wrong way, but sometimes I wish we had a more exciting life. I looked up from my laptop and smiled faintly. You mean a richer life? She blinked, caught off guard, then laughed lightly. You said it, not me. That's when I knew. She wasn't joking anymore. That night, I lay awake listening to her breathe, realizing something harsh. Love doesn't always die in explosions. Sometimes it fades in whispers, in little humiliations, in careless jokes, in the moments when laughter cuts deeper than anger ever could. The next morning, I made coffee, went to work, came home late, just like always. But this time, I left an envelope on the kitchen counter. Open it, I said when she noticed it. Inside were 2 things, a signed contract for my new deal and a real estate brochure, a lakefront property already under my name. She stared at it, her voice trembling. David, what is this? It's my next project. I said evenly. I just closed a multi-year deal. That property is where I'll be living. Her brows furrowed. You'll be living? I met her eyes. You once said you missed your chance to marry Rich. Turns out you didn't miss it. You just laughed at it. Her lips parted. David, I didn't mean it like that. I shook my head gently. You did. Maybe not to hurt me, but because that's how you felt. You've been ashamed of the life we built together. You thought stability was mediocrity, but you never understood what real wealth is. Peace, loyalty, respect. Tears welled in her eyes. Please don't do this. We can fix it. I paused at the doorway, looking back one last time. You can't fix what you never valued. She covered her mouth, sobbing, as I said the last words I ever would to her. I used to laugh with you, Laura, but the night you joked about missing your chance, I realized you weren't the woman I fell in love with. You were just waiting for a richer version of me. I left that night. A month later, I moved into my new home by the lake. Quiet, peaceful, no laughter echoing off the walls. Just calm. Sometimes I'd see photos of Laura online out with friends, smiling like nothing ever happened. Maybe she found what she was looking for. As for me, I found something too, the kind of wealth she could never measure. Because real success isn't proving someone wrong. It's living so well that you never have to explain yourself again.